Hello there, and welcome to MacJack episode 131. My name is Bruce, and I'm here with Greg, Jay, Steve, and Mike. So, what have you guys been up to this week? Shall we start with Greg?
Well, I just did a video a couple hours ago, or a live actually, where I unboxed a TI-99 4A that I have been wanting to get a hold of for a very long time. I did not get it powered on video, but I did actually off video did make a cable for it and was able to. It does boot up. It does run. I could put some basic lines in there. And
how many megabytes of RAM has that got?
No, there's no megabytes. It's by kilobytes, and it's like 16.
Yes. Well, that's impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah, you got to remember this is 1981. This is.
I don't exist yet.
8-bit micros.
Yeah, Macs didn't even exist yet. Yeah.
Did you have one growing up, or this was just a machine you always wanted?
No, I actually learned to program BASIC on the TI-99 4A. Wrote a very complicated Pac-Man clones type program using sprites and everything. I mean, I was doing peek and poke commands and all the other stuff.
Where is this copy?
It is lost because this is back when I was 16, 17. So we're talking 35 years ago roughly.
So did you sell the machine, or you got rid of it? Or?
No, it stayed because it was the family's machine, so it stayed with them, and I don't know what happened to it after that. So
damn.
And Mike, what have you been up to?
Work.
Awesome.
You were the other day.
Repairing car stereos, isn't it?
I've been working and sleeping. Yeah. I fixed that. Well, I don't know. Truthfully, I don't even know if I fixed it because he hasn't even reassembled it yet. So, I don't know. I'm still waiting on my payment for that one. I'll probably have to wait till he puts it in his car. So, it'll probably be another week.
Fair enough.
The crap I do for my freaking iPhone collection.
Wow, as long as it's a worthy cause. How about you, Steve? What have you been up to?
So I got that Macintosh Portable, and I've been recovering from my cold, so I'm feeling much better, but not 100% yet. But earlier today, I did tinker with a Macintosh Classic 2 that was giving me loads of trouble. The sound didn't want to work, and I finally was able to find a donor sound chip, which was not easy, and swapped it in, and sound. So
you showed that thing who's boss.
It only sat on my desk for like a year.
So. Well, I think there's only two of us watching you do it too. So.
Thankfully, that was a quick. Not quick, but it was once it was fixed, it was a quick fix.
Jay, did you ask how long he gets for his lunch because it was taking long?
Oh yeah, call me out on
that. It wasn't taking that long. He was still within the 1 hour mark.
Oh, okay.
And how about you, Pizza Boy?
Well, I'm currently eating pizza. The best pizza I've ever had in my life. It's amazing.
Oh, well, that's good enough. Well, so Jay's been eating pizza. That's what he's been up to.
Oh yeah.
I finally got a board that's been sitting in my workshop longer than any other repair that I've had. I finally got it fixed the other day. So
yay!
Glorious moment.
What was the
Yay!
issue?
And then it was the CUDA chip. So yeah. And then or egret chip as it's sometimes known.
Regret.
Yeah, life is full of egrets.
Recur.
And okay, so anyhow, I figured we would get rolling with the show if everyone else is happy with that. I am seeing some interesting questions coming up in the chat from a Tua Fiddler about SCSI. So a bit later in the show, I might look into. So essentially, what he's asking is, if we get one of the 80-pin SCSIs, the wide ones, can you, with an adapter, connect them up to a 68K Mac? Now, I do have one of those drives, and I do have an adapter, and I do have 68K Mac. So I'm going to have a look and check, and I'll let you know.
I think I've got it. I've had it done before. The trick is the adapter. It has many jumpers on there. You got to just play with it.
Okay.
I've
My
never done,
adapter has
I've never
no
done
jumpers.
I've never done it on a 68K, but I have done it on a Power Mac.
Okay. Well, I'll try it maybe on a 68040 at some stage today. I've got an adapter. The adapter has no jumpers on it whatsoever. It is just basically 50 on one side and 80 on the other. So we'll see.
Best
see
of
whether
luck
that
to you.
works. Yeah, thank you.
And I don't
all
touch
right.
beige, so you're on your own.
Yes, fair enough. We'll convert you one day, Jay. Trust me.
No.
So news. We have one little news article here today. Basically, M1 MacBook owners complain about easily cracked
forgot.
screens. Who put this one in there?
I did actually. I saw the article come out. I get emails on all the time about this stuff, and I saw this one come in. Apparently, a lot of MacBook M1 owners are complaining about cracked screens. I guess they're so thin now that they're cracking really easily. So it sounds almost like, what do they start calling this again? Probably display gate or something, whatever gate they're going to
Everything
call
is
it
a
this
damn
time.
gate.
Yeah.
Well, I recall, I think we actually covered this on a show a while ago, that a lot of people, when they're buying laptops, are now sticking those little camera covers, little slidey camera covers that you can buy on eBay. They're just a little plastic adhesive thing that you stick on a screen and you slide it across to cover your camera. And Apple have actually warned that these are designed so slim that if you put anything in between the keyboard and the screen that is thicker than like a piece of paper, you have the potential to crack the screen. So, I mean, I don't know if this relates to that or whether they're just cracking by themselves.
Well, people are probably treating it like an iPad. I mean, an iPad with a case on it is pretty durable, but these laptops, there's not too much between the back of the display and the front. At least the iPad, you have a bunch of stuff in between. So.
Well, the problem they're having is, and I'm reading an article here, says specialists at authorized Apple repair facility said the damage, described as a contact point crack, did not fall under the company's standard warranty and would therefore not be covered. So Apple is not covering it under warranty.
Well, is it standard warranty or Apple Care warranty?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it doesn't say.
But essentially what they're
warranty.
saying is it was damaged by an impact. It didn't just magically
Yeah.
happen, because I
Well,
don't know, got hot.
Actually,
got
they're saying
hot.
they're saying it suggests a piece of debris was sandwiched between the display and the top case. So something got in between there.
Somebody put their sandwich between the keyboard and the screen and closed it.
But look, I mean, this is just a result, I guess, of Apple, continually making things thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner.
Because there's so much flex on those displays now because there's nothing really holding them anymore.
Aren't you happy we don't have those foldable phones, tablets, and laptops yet? What a nightmare! I don't think
it's
people
coming.
are ready.
It's coming.
Yeah, but people aren't
it's
ready
funny.
for it.
If they get it right, I will be very happy to have a foldable phone. If they get it right, they haven't yet, but if they get it right, I think I like the idea of being able to fold my phone in half and take up a little bit less pocket space.
Has anybody ever actually looked at one of those? Because I have, and you can actually see the crease in there. Yeah. And another problem is that because it folds, it can't be glass, so therefore it's actually more of a plasticky. So you can scratch it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Than you can a glass surface.
I think it's a few years off.
Yeah. We need Scotty from the future to come back in time and give someone the secret to the foldable glass. That's what we need. Sorry, Star Trek reference there. Sorry, folks.
Well, actually, he was using a Mac at the time when he did.
He was indeed.
He was talking to the mouse.
Hello, computer.
Okay, so shall we get into our topics for today?
Sure.
Let us start. I am reading this for the first time. Why is it? Why is it? Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'll read this here. When is it okay to stop supporting old hardware? Take it away, GT.
Never.
Well, the reason why I pulled up this topic because I've been watching some of the forums, not forums, but the groups on Facebook. And you get these people in there when Apple stops supporting something with software, they get all irate. People get irate because, my CMP doesn't, I can't run, Monterey or Big Sur on my CMP anymore because Apple doesn't care about us anymore. Well, I'm like, to my opinion is that they gave that thing a pretty damn good run. I mean, it was they gave it almost 10 years. I'm sorry, but they got to move on. I mean, software does, get better and better, and the hardware, you can't change the hardware, you could change the software. So the hardware has to keep up with the software, in my opinion. And to be honest with you, I think Apple does a very good job of supporting as long as they do on a lot of their products. I mean, that's my opinion on it.
They've definitely improved. I mean, if anybody's complaining about classic Mac Pro support, go talk to a G5 owner who bought theirs like the week before Mac Pro came out.
Bruce.
Somebody on this.
I bought mine early on. Mine came with 10.2. I actually had 10.2, 10.3, 10.4, and 10.5. So I got 4 revisions of software on mine.
There you go.
So it's fine.
But if you were late in that game, everyone was upset, obviously. But I mean, I think especially with the iOS releases, they've improved that a lot. I mean, even some of the iPhone 5s and the iPhone 6s get pretty good support these days, and that was almost unheard of with the iPhone 3G, because I remember I think one of the iPads got an update, but one of the phones got an update because the cellular carrier required it to, but a similar iPad with about the same or beefier specs didn't get an update, and I think they've really reversed that. I think now they're trying to keep people using those devices longer because they want to update the software so people could download apps and download music and all that stuff. And I think as far as the computers go, I mean, we do sort of live in an age where people are very keen to just go out and buy something new just because they want something new. I think our older way of using a machine until it's dead in the ground and then we modify it to make it work better and keep killing this, keep beating the dead horse until it's beyond use, I think is a bit of a rare case.
And I agree with you. I think, but the problem is, I think, is people just expect Apple to keep supporting this old stuff. I mean, yes, granted, I just started using CMPs a couple of years ago. And a lot of these people are probably the same, just started using CMPs a couple of years ago because their prices come down and people can afford them.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. These things are old machines. They're 10 years old or even older, some of them,
Yeah,
I'd be using them with the software that's on them.
Yeah.
Exactly, Bruce.
Exactly.
Support. I don't care about the word support. I will never go to Apple for support unless something breaks a week after I get it. But, I don't care if Apple supports my hardware or my operating system of choice with updates or whatever, because I'm perfectly happy using that outdated software and outdated hardware. I don't need their support. And people start freaking out when Monterey comes out and Mojave's support will officially be over. No more security updates, nothing. People are going to flip. Oh, when am I going to run that? Just stick with Mojave, dude. It doesn't break overnight just because Apple says, no more security updates.
Yeah.
Just do your thing.
I think where people get concerned is where, they are not a user who is very tech savvy and they do not understand the concept of support, because they might be the type of people who have had a plan where they called up Apple for support or whatever. And now that the machine is no longer supported, they think, well, I'm just going to go out and buy another one. And you know what? That's fine. That keeps Apple running because we're the opposite of that. We will squeeze that penny until it can't be squeezed anymore.
Apple don't like us.
No. They're not targeting their stuff at people like us. They're targeting it at these people that that have no clue about an Apple product. And
you know what's going to suck though? 15 years from today, when I finally have enough cash to get a 2019 Mac Pro, Intel support is like 13 years ago. All I can run is Monterey or something.
Might bring the price down on them though. You never know. The price might come down a little bit sooner because of that. We can only hope.
maybe.
But Jay, at least you'll be able to run Monterey on it, right?
Oh man.
I mean, Apple is a hardware company. We have to not forget that. I mean, how do you think Apple give free OS updates? I mean, they do it because when you have that OS update come out that requires just a little bit more grunt, and your computer now runs a little bit slower than it did before. Each time that happens in little incremental amounts, your computer just gets a little bit slower and a little bit slower. And then one day, your computer's not supported for that software and you go buy a new one. It's very, very structured. It's what Apple do. It's how they get loads and loads and loads of money. And we just have to remember that that's they're a business. That's how they make their money. They make their money from selling hardware. And
oh no, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, I was going to say, and Apple's not the only company that does this. Every other company in the world does this. And to be honest with you, like, for instance, let's take Samsung, which does, Android stuff.
Yeah.
They don't even provide the updates as often, for the Android operating system. In fact, when Google puts out a Android update, Samsung takes forever to get an update put out for it.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they do send us up, but for instance, Mike, you're still running an iPhone 6s, right? And it still runs the latest OS, right? iOS, correct?
I'm actually running my 6S Plus. Is actually running 15 now.
Yeah. So
Which I'm going to say from a support standpoint, I am absolutely floored that Apple actually released one more update. So this is actually 5 years that they'll be supporting this for 5 years. That is unheard of. Go find me somebody else with a phone
that's
5 years old that's still getting software updates.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And you won't see that in the Android community at all.
Yeah.
I don't mind them dropping support.
Jay, your microphone.
Now, on that note, I think I very quickly need to just mention a little news item that got added last minute and that I missed. Steve, did you want to take that away?
Sure. So I just want to, and I could actually, through the magic of this software here, I'm going to just share my screen in a moment. Not going to play the video, but I just want to share this. But essentially, if I buy myself enough time here by clicking share screen, and clicking the window here, and then talking over it. There we go. There's this video that I came across that is Next Event. This occurred in 2015. I'll put a link in the YouTube chat here. And so this was a discussion that took place at the Cartoon Art Museum, its former location in San Francisco. I was actually there sometime in 2013 or 2014, but a nice little museum. But anyway, they had a setup where they had a Next focused event, and all these people who used to work at Next and Pixar and all these places came, and they recorded this conversation. It's about an hour long. If you have any interest in how macOS 10 was made, how Next was developed, the company culture, what happened there, how Safari became Safari, and all these things about how they developed the PostScript stuff and all. This is fascinating. At least it's fascinating to me. I think it's an excellent interview. The guy on the left is interviewing the people on the right who, they switch spots, so it's not the same guy for, an entire hour. I think it's really cool. I just came across it today. It's one of those things that just popped up in my feed. I don't know if there's more of them. I don't know if this was a recurring event or anything. But the guy who's on the right, I believe his name is, I forget his name, but you watch the video, you'll see he put out a book of photos from his time. He was basically a photographer. He came into Next. He had something like 25,000 photos that he shot because that was like, he was there for years documenting it. There was supposed to be a piece in Time Magazine or whatever. It got dropped. And so he had all these photos. He had them in an archive, and he released a book of some of them, and they're still scanning. Some cool stuff. Check it out. I just wanted to share that.
Awesome.
Alrighty.
All right. So I figured we did the Apple support thing to death. So that's why I just sort of moved along there. I hope everyone had said what they wanted to say about that.
But before you start there, Bruce, I'm going to do something real quick.
Smash that like button.
Yes, everyone, smash it. Now, the next thing we have on our list of topics actually requires some involvement from someone eating pizza. Is that person ready to do it yet? No, he's just holding his microphone out. Actually, the next two topics here he is. Welcome back.
No mic.
No sound?
No audio.
What the hell, man? Jay's a very big part of this show. I should just mention the next two topics rely on his involvement.
If we need to stall, I can mention something else.
Yes, you can. And of course, we can move into the other stuff and come back to the topics.
All right, we want to do that, yeah.
There's one little thing that I don't think is in the topics here. was another cool thing that Dana was talking about earlier. There's a KidPix version of that application. It's a classic app that's been on Mac and Windows. And basically, KidPix was this little drawing program. And what they had done is somebody made basically I guess it's a JavaScript version of it. And it's really cool. I'm going to just share it again just to buy us some time here as we fuddle around with our microphones and such. I think it's really neat that someone has taken the I guess the time to develop this, but you have it's anybody who's used the program, it's very nostalgic. Anybody who has not, they're like, what the heck is this? But you could come in here, you could draw, you could erase things. It's just a little paint program here. You could do whatever you want there.
You can draw in little patterns and stuff, can't you? I've never used this, but I vaguely remember you can stamp little patterns and things out, can't you? Something
There's a little stamp thing, and at school you used to be able to double click them and you would edit the stamps, and so you'd be able to make them larger. There's some ice cream, there's a cactus, and you could just there's a colored little Claris dog cow, so you'd be able to just play around with these. And so this is just a virtual version of this, but at school in the actual application you'd be able to double click those icons, you'd be able to edit them. And so I'd make all my custom icons. So in elementary school, when I wanted to sit at a specific computer, because I had all my custom icons there. But I think this is pretty neat. I'll put a link in the chat.
That is very cool.
A little fun thing you can play on your phone or on your desktop.
Excellent. So we can move on to the YouTube stuff if Jay is still struggling with his technical issues.
Can you guys hear me now?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
All right.
You,
Let me
you look a little
finish
bit
this
like
bite.
Mike now.
Give me 30 seconds.
You look a little bit like Mike.
There we go. Okay, so anyhow, I'll just give a little bit of background on this. So the next topic we're going to be doing is on a little piece of software called Grand Perspective. And this is, so I will hand it over now to Jay. Are you ready to roll with this one, sir?
I guess I have to be. All right. So, I am sharing my screen, I believe. Am I?
Yeah.
And do you have the option to just crank your microphone up a little bit in the settings there? You're a little bit quiet.
All right. Hold on.
Oh, he was sharing the screen.
When it rains, it pours. All right. I'm going to tweak my audio now. How's that?
Sounds good.
Is it up as high as it can go?
Now it is.
Okay, well, we'll see how we go.
All right. Okay, so following up on last week's little tip, I figured that Grand Perspective would be a good candidate. Let me make that a little bigger so you all can see it. I'm not just going to read the website back to you, but basically it scans your hard drive or whatever partition you point it at, and it gives you a visual representation of all the files on there, as you can see in the picture. Bless you, Mike.
Thank you.
And let's see. I actually have a better idea. I'm going to share the app itself because I can show you more.
Ooh.
Window. There we go. Haha. You are now looking at my hard drive, my main boot drive.
What color is porn?
Porn
Red.
is
Red.
gold, blue, bright blue. You can tell there's none of it. So let's say you're running very low on space. You run Grand Perspective. You do a scan, and you're like, hey, what are these ginormous blocks of data? And down at the bottom here, you can't see it now, but where my cursor currently is, as soon as you hover over something, it tells you exactly what is taking up all that space. So I have one virtual machine that's 123 gigabytes. I have another one that's 85. So 1/4 of my drive is all virtual machines. And you see the little white outline over each block. When I go down here, I can click the focus button, and it focuses on the location where all that data is. So this is my desktop. This entire block here is my desktop. It's taking almost 200 gigs of space. And then you can use the buttons to focus out again and keep browsing. So it looks very messy and confusing, but if you know the basics, like, hey, whatever you point at, it shows you at the bottom what it is. You can right-click on something. What? The menu doesn't show up. Lame. Right-click on something, you can say Reveal in Finder. It takes you right to the file. You can delete it, you can move it, you can do whatever you want. And when you're done, you just rescan the drive and keep going that way until you freed up all the space you want to free up. This is a free app. I'm going to put the link in the description. But there are other apps that do this same or similar thing. And I believe that Bruce knows about one of them.
Yes, when I actually saw this come up, I immediately thought of an application that I've been using for some time now called Space Gremlin. It's available on the App Store. It does cost money. I think it's $4 or $5 or something like that. And it does a very similar thing. However, I personally prefer it. Now, I'm going to share my screen now. This is my work drive, so hopefully I'm not giving away huge amounts of personal information about my customers and stuff like that. I don't think there's anything particularly secret in there, but I will just quickly share my screen. I'll share this window anyway. So this one here. So this is Space Gremlin. I've just run this on my what do you call it? Sort of my work drive. I've got a whole stack of backups.
And what color is your porn, Bruce?
This is my work drive. The work drive. There's no porn on the work drive.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you one of the reasons why I prefer this over that other software. First of all, I just feel like it's a slightly less messy overall look of the drive. But what I really like about it is if, let's just say we want to look at this section here, I can double click on it and it will then turn that section into its own view. If I wanted to go in and look at this one, I can double click on that and then it turns that section into its own view. So you can sort of hone in and each one of those sections then break it down into a closer view, of how that section is made up. So, I personally just think this one, and of course, at any stage with this, you can then kind of right click on it and you can ask to show it on it'll just take you straight to it on the desktop. So you can kind of right click a file and say, I think it's show in Finder. So, I think that it's, this one would be my choice. I would rather spend the money on this than go with the freebie, but obviously people can sort of make their own choices about that. But a utility like this, I think, is absolutely vital for getting an idea of where what's taking up space on your drive. I just looking at that one there, I can see I'm holding a few backups on there, and my God, they're taking up half the drive. I've got to get rid of something massive. So I've got sort of like some incremental backups there, and they are. I think I'm hanging on to a few more than I need.
Well, does those utilities, both of them, and I'm asking this to both of you guys, show the free space on there as well?
Yes, they do. On mine, it was about that big.
Grand Perspective does not show free space.
Okay. Yeah, so this one does. So what this one does, it treats the whole area as the size of your drive, not the size of the content on the drive. It treats the whole thing as the size of your drive, and your free space occupies a percentage of that based on how much free space you have. So, yeah.
Well, it's good to have options. I'm definitely going to check out that Gremlin, and I believe Steve has something ready as well.
Sure. Yeah, it's funny because I saw you guys talking about Space Gremlin, and I was like, what the heck are they talking about? But I actually discovered a version called Space Monger for Windows back in the day, and I was looking for a Mac version. And thankfully I found one, so I'll add my screen here. And so essentially it's very similar to what they showed. It shows your applications, your files, your folders, or whatever in blocks. What I like is it gives you this little pull-out. So you're able to see like by application, and you click on it and it highlights that area. You could zoom in just like, they showed, etc. But what's also cool is there's this file kind statistics button on the top right. You click on that and you could see I have 25 gigs of applications, 25 gigs of MPEG-4 movies. My Backblaze backup is 22 gigs. And if I click on that, it's going to show, that kind of stuff, which is neat. There's some sorting here, which is very helpful. And obviously, if you right-click, you reveal in Finder, move to trash, zoom in, etc.
I think we have a
So-
winner here because yours is the only one that shows the little. Oh, you're sharing your whole screen. Yeah, that
that's
doesn't
why.
count.
That's why when you said, and mine's bugging out too. Look at it.
Yeah.
When you said, "Oh, mine's not working," and I click full screen, let's see if it breaks it. Well, whatever. But when you mentioned that yours wasn't working, I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
it looks
but-
pretty neat. And this is free, or you have to pay for
This is free. It will ask you to donate. You don't have to. It's a shareware type thing. But it's not limited to the free version. You can use it however you like. They've had versions for a long time. So I even think they were supporting. I think Leopard or Snow Leopard was one of the ones I used to use. But it's very useful software, especially when I was having that issue where I was trying to find where all my disk space was.
I didn't want to put
this
that
was-
comment up there, but
Okay. Okay. My software is lickable. All right, I got a little concerned there, but yeah, it's very much the aesthetic of it is very like early
Yeah.
OS 10 with the.
I think the one that Bruce uses looks the best. Definitely looks the best. I think the one that you use, Steve, has features that I definitely want. Those list views
Yeah.
is definitely something I can
I
appreciate.
really like the size because I could see like, oh my goodness, I have like 7 gigs of zip archives. Those are probably from one downloads or whatever. I don't need those anymore, and I could remove them.
Yeah.
Or I
That
could
is
zoom
definitely a
into
good
a
feature.
specific spot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm going to try some of those. I'm going to.
yeah, there's plenty. So you find your best one and see what suits you.
Yeah.
So I'll put a link in the chat for that one.
Excellent. Okay, so let's move on.
Let's.
The next topic is something that we debuted on the last show. Was very, very popular, extremely popular, and that is Mac Yak Disagrees. And today we will be talking about the Puck Mouse. Divides the Mac users, that's for sure.
I think only one Mac user is going
For
to be
the affirmative, Jay. For the negative,
the rest of
everyone
us.
else.
I'll take everybody on.
Especially in UT,
Okay,
right?
so Jay, what are the positives? What do you like about the thing?
And give us a visual. Come on, you have like 10 of them.
I thought we were talking about the MacBook Air today, so I have no visual ready. But you know what a Puck mouse looks like. Everybody knows because it's the best mouse ever made. It's the most famous mouse ever made. Everybody knows what they look like, what they feel like, what they smell like, what they taste like if you're naughty. It is a lightweight mouse, and you don't really use it like you would a PC mouse. You don't put your whole hand on it and expect to move it around like this. It fits between your fingers, like you kind of rest your palm on it, grab it with your fingers, and you can be extremely precise with it. To date, and I've tried some very expensive mice, to date, I have not owned a more accurate mouse than the Puck. Ever. And it just looks cool. It's a Puck.
So I got a question then. Why aren't you running one right now on your Mac Pro?
Because the software that I need to work with needs multiple buttons.
Ah,
But the stuff that I use a Puck for does not need multiple buttons. So any PowerPC stuff I do, Unreal Tournament, it's all with the Puck.
Well, I will say that I definitely agree. I like the size of the Puck mouse. I am probably different to a lot of people. I have never held a mouse with my whole hand on it like a sort of a Windows mouse or whatever. I have always held my mouse with 2 fingers, sort of like that, and then sort of the finger on the buttons there. So I've always done that. So from the perspective of the size, I've never ever had any issue with the size of a Puck mouse. I have only ever had an issue with the shape of them, the fact that they are round and not an ellipse. Because, and I was actually telling this story on my live stream yesterday, when I used to work in a studio and we had a whole bunch of computers in a place, a whole bunch of, like G3s and an iMacs or whatever, we had them all set up for different tasks. So some were set up to a big A3 scanner, had one a big A3 scanner. One was set up as like our CD, DVD burning station. We had one that was set up, linked up to the printer. We had all these different computers that did different tasks. And each one of them had, a Puck mouse attached to it. And we would swap stations all the time, get up and down and up and down, depending on the job that we were doing. And it was very common for whoever was working at the computer last time, when they get up, to leave the mouse, not necessarily straight, maybe at a slight angle. And then you would go and sit down, you'd put your hand on the mouse, and you'd move it, and you're all moving all wonky because the mouse wasn't around the right way. It was slightly off at an angle. And when you have a mouse that's like more of an elliptical shape, you immediately know which is the top and which is the bottom by just putting your hand on it without having to look at it. Now, we got around this at the time by just removing the little colored clips of plastic from the side, because then you could actually just feel immediately which were the sides and which was the top and bottom. You could actually just put your hand on it and know exactly which way around it was. But I know there were also things that you could buy to clip over the top to make it so that they were more of an elliptical shape. But that was the only complaint I ever had about them, that they were round. If they'd have brought them out exactly the same as they are, just slightly elliptical, I would have preferred them.
Well, I'm sorry to hear, Bruce, that you worked in an office that couldn't afford lighting, so you could see the orientation of your mouse. I don't know what to say to that. Unless you had a lot of people would route the cable. It had a fairly short cable on the mouse, so unless you routed it wrong or used it with a computer that it wasn't really meant for, like an iMac G4 where the ports are in the back and all that, there would be a lot of tension on the cable, and when you let it go, it would kind of, rotate to wherever the cable was pointing at. But I never had that issue with the G3 and with the G3 iMacs. So,
as soon as they put a little indentation on the button, problem solved. You could just put your hand down, you felt the indentation, you knew exactly where the top was. Apple did fix it.
Couldn't you hook them to because the keyboards came with a USB port in them, right? So you didn't have to have it that far away.
Yeah,
you didn't have to. But when you plugged it into the keyboard, you were actually too close to the keyboard, so the cable would kind of loop like this. And when you let go of the mouse, it would kind of spin, because there was too much cable on the desk. So it was never the ideal size cable.
So you're saying it never was ideal then? So.
I'm talking about the cable, not the mouse. The mouse sheer
to
perfection.
be fair, the same thing happens with an ADB mouse. You have the port right there, the mouse is right there. If you bring the mouse too close to the keyboard, it's gonna get all screwed up, no matter what the length of the cable is. I think it was a fine mouse. It's not perfect. I grew up using one on my father's computer, and that was the mouse, so I got used to it. I don't remember ever having a problem where it was the wrong way for more than a few seconds and I just adjusted it. I did for games and stuff, I did eventually get a Logitech mouse that was two buttons with the wheel and the optical, and I thought that was great. But for the longest time my father still had that mouse, and eventually we got a different one, but I didn't really mind it. I thought I liked the colors. For 20 years ago, I went out and I bought, one of every other color. So I have, those, and that they're fun. I think they fit the aesthetic of the iMac perfectly. If they were a bit more oval, maybe they would be easier to hold. There was a Kensington one that tried to mimic that. But I just wanted to add in, just for shameless self-promotion purposes, this beautiful little mouse that is an actual mouse. And this is the Logitech Kids Mouse, KIDZ. Came out for Mac and Windows. But this is basically reminds me of the Puck mouse because of how the ball mechanism is and how well it is to track and everything. But just adorable too. So I just wanted to show it.
Yes, that is.
But it reminds me of, whenever I use it, I think of the Puck mouse because it has that same feel. I will say the Puck mouse is very satisfying to use as far as a responsiveness type thing. So if you don't need a second button, it won't drive you crazy.
Yeah. Well, Patrick made a pretty good point here. He was talking about the vertical mouse, but he's talking about trackpad. Yes, I like trackpads too because of all the gestures and everything. But we're talking about the Puck mouse here, so
And why'd you pick on his comment?
No, I picked on his comment because he was talking about it. But yes, I like the trackpads. If you don't want to use a mouse at all, trackpad's your next best thing. But a trackpad, I bet somebody actually mentioned about the Magic Mouse too. But the Magic Mouse is like a step up above the Puck, I think, just a tiny little bit.
I mean, I think it's wrong for us to criticize the Puck for not having two buttons or a scroll wheel or something like that, because this is back in an era when all of the mice at the time, I mean, they had one button, they had two buttons if you're lucky, no scroll wheels. Scroll wheels didn't exist at the time, so so it's all very well to reflect on how useful things like scroll wheels are today, but they weren't around back then. So, I mean, even if you plug a mouse with a scroll wheel into like those old operating systems, they haven't got a clue what to do with them. So, yeah, I don't think that's fair. So, what else is wrong with it then? Anyone? Or are we all agreeing that it's not that bad?
I think
I can get used to this segment. This the second week I'm right. That's awesome.
No.
I think what happened
Jay's
is
wrong.
the puck mouse became, and it was named the puck mouse because it looked like a hockey puck, and people were making fun of the iMac because people didn't like. Apple was not in the position they were in today, where they were influencing the computers and the mobile devices and stuff like that. Apple was still an outcast, and the iMac came out, and PC people or people who just didn't like Apple, they picked on what they didn't understand, and that was the mouse was a certain color, a certain shape. It wasn't normal, and they thought, oh, it's stupid, it's a puck mouse. And yeah, I understand that not everybody who likes Apple stuff likes the mouse either, but I think it was an easy target because you had this futuristic computer. The keyboard I don't think is a bad keyboard. The only problem I have is it was white text on black keys. So you needed a light if you weren't a touch typist to actually see what the heck was going on. Yeah. My mother would complain endlessly about that because she would go to use the computer. She couldn't see the darn keyboard. But, having a mouse that was very different, I think was a learning curve for some people. But if you talk to any of the people who grew up in the education industry or anything, their kids using that computer for the first time, I don't think they would have had a problem with it. I think anybody else who used a regular mouse and then switched over to that was like, what's this? Yeah. It's not for everybody. I'll say that. I don't mind using it, but if I'm going to use an iMac for an extended period of time, I may swap.
Hey, I remember the days in computers before there were mice even. I mean, so you had nothing but a keyboard.
Be lucky for what you got.
Well,
exactly.
You are 200 years old, GT.
Exactly.
Steve, your mom would have loved the modification I did on one of my puck mouse. I put an LED in there. You can see it in the dark.
I don't think her problem was seeing the mouse. It was the keyboard.
Oh, yeah,
now, Jay, I feel like this is a really good opportunity for you to start vlogging some of your videos. You're going to drop some links into the chat because you've got some sensational puck content.
I think I only have one puck video.
Some of the 2-hour cleaning of puck mouse.
It's 45 minutes. Don't overdo it.
It feels like 2 hours.
I'm finishing this last slice of pizza, which is now cold and petrified. After that, I'll put some links down in the chat.
Damn, you eat slow.
I did show the image of Jay's puck mice, which he let me put in the iMac video I did. I just found it hilarious that I was looking for these pictures of the puck mouse, and Jay's like, "Oh yeah, I have a picture. It's not the best." And he sends me, and it's like them all like lined up beautifully. You saw it before when it was in the chat in the window, though. Mm-hmm. It's like, what do you mean it's not a good picture? Look at them; they're all color coded and all pretty.
They are.
Yeah, pretty. Fox says puck mouse cleaning ASMR, and that's exactly what it is, pretty much.
Yep, it's one of my best videos. No, it's not. I think it's
the House of Moths pucking videos.
Okay, well, I think we've got a sort of an ape quack today that we can.
Do we?
Yeah, well, it's not really an ape quack. It's more of a sort of custom. A question for all of our viewers, really, and that is, what's your favorite OS X intro video or music? The little intros that came in. Now, how many operating systems had them? I can't remember.
I think it was only 1 or 2, wasn't it?
No, it was like
I installed 10.6 yesterday, and that one still had it. I'm not sure about lying.
It's at least 4 or 5 of them because you didn't always get a full intro. I think it was 10.1. You got like a little droplet animation, the water rippled, and you would hear music in the background as you were going through the setup procedure, but it wasn't necessarily an introduction video. And then Leopard and Snow Leopard shared the same video.
Okay. And so what about some of the earlier ones? I don't recall, I certainly remember the 10.4 and the 10.5, but I don't remember some of the other ones. So
me neither.
Yeah, the Jaguar one is I'm looking at it on YouTube now. It's a little aqua dot and then it ripples, and then you see the words like welcome, and then it's all in different languages.
Oh,
and
yes.
and
I
it
remember
comes
that
in.
one.
Yeah, and it's the very calming music that it's like very like ooh, like just like it's like a church
Creepy,
type
dude.
thing. I don't know, but
Don't sing too much of it; we might get demonetized.
Yeah, we can't show any of these.
please, if I
unfortunately.
could if I could carry a tune and be demonetized, I could get but
Fun
I
fact.
like the one
the,
that goes. You know, the one that
That's-
whistles.
yeah, the one that whistles is Panther.
Yeah, okay.
That's the one that made me go out and buy all the songs on iTunes because that was. But they all follow a similar theme. It says welcome. There's either an Apple logo or an OS 10 logo, and it goes through the thing. They're very fun. You can look them up on YouTube without getting us demonetized. But
Fun fact: the server versions up until Lion, every operating system had a dedicated server edition. It had a little intro video as well. It was shorter. It didn't have all the welcome. Thank you for spending all your money with us. It just had a very short and to the point little video. Made it look all professional and stuff.
oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
I've got another Eat Quack that I've just made up. We might have done it before, but I'll do it anyway. So, has anyone here ever started on a project and then got about halfway through it and wished they'd never started it in the first place, but it's too late to undo?
Eep.
Eep.
I think that's
Working on
every
it
day of our
right now.
lives. How many server installs of did you do, Jay, to try and get all the software updates? And
He's ticking there. It's like,
he's
I don't
going
know.
through that introduction wizard in his sleep.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been fun to figure some of this stuff out again because over the years you just forget. If you don't use it every day, you start forgetting small details and little tricks and stuff. So it's been
All
fun,
right.
but
I don't see any quacks.
I definitely would have saved it for when it's snowing outside again and not the sun.
Yeah, basically every video I do, it's like I have this idea. It's like, oh yeah, I'll just show this off. It'll be easy. I got the system set up. I have the software. It should work fine. And yet you have to replace capacitors. Things get conflicted and corrupted, and they don't want to work. You can't find the cable you had 10 minutes ago, and then before you know it, it's Friday at 6 a.m. and you have to debut the video, and you just aren't ready. That's what happens.
I think
It's,
Justin wins the longest eep.
Yes. I think someone needs to stick Sean's up there.
Oh, when you start a project and you overwrite your existing install and then wish you never started.
Oh.
Ouch.
That sounds like a curse.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it does
he's,
also.
he's spread enough of his curse to me. He's welcome to have it back.
Yes, I mean, I definitely think you could probably eep with Ra Scuzzy alone, couldn't you, Steve? That's
Maybe that's what I was referring to when being up at 6 a.m. That was quite of let's just see how this experimental functionality works. Oh, that's why the instructions haven't been updated yet.
There you go.
But it was fun. It's a great thing once you get it going. And I'm glad that me stumbling over things has helped update documentation and things like that, so people
how
have an easier
awful is
time.
this? I still haven't watched it.
Oh
What?
wow,
You
you
even
are
have a
my
cameo in
friend.
I actually haven't watched it yet either, so.
Oh, you
I was-
both suck.
Let me
I was gonna work-
delete you both from the stream.
I was going to watch it yesterday while I was working in the workshop, but I got talked into actually doing a live stream. So yeah,
You know
If-
what?
if
I
So
either
you
looked
blame
that up.
Jay. So
I
blame
looked that
Jay.
up. No one even asked you to stream. Every other day, yes, but not yesterday.
they did during Mike's stream.
Oh,
If either of you
Ah.
watch Sean's Roscuzzy video before you watch
I haven't watched his either. I have not
Bruce?
watched his either.
Bruce,
Yes, I haven't watched his either.
okay.
I'll watch yours first. I promise.
so they can stay now. They can finish the show.
All right, all right, the bidding starts now. Who's going to pay us the most to watch it first?
Anyhow, needless to say, there are a couple of really good Ra Scuzzy videos out there. Go and check them out. I will
We'll
too.
just say Sean has an easier time, at least on camera, than I did.
Well, that's because he's not. Only his hands are there.
You can't see him cursing.
All you see is a fist.
Okay, so I think we will move on now. I mean, the next thing we have is kind of our, unless I'm missing something in the notes here, the next thing we have is our recurring series on starting your own YouTube channel. And we have so far gone over, what are your goals? Why do you want to do this? We've gone over equipment. If anyone has any more questions about any of these previous bits, in the segment, please jump in and ask. We have gone over the process of getting monetized. And one of the things that we did talk about with the monetization process is building up viewer hours, and we talked about some methods that you can follow. We're saying live streaming is a good way of getting your viewer hours up, which brings us on to Jay's recent little foray into that. So, Jay, would you like to tell us about your live streaming efforts of late?
Yeah, I've. If you were here, what was it, last week, and Bruce was talking about how to get monetized, and he said you got to get your view hours up. So I'm like, well, I'm a few shy. What can I possibly do to get those hours up? So I did a little experiment and did this. I live streamed for, 3 or 4 hours, a tree and a birdhouse. And I think I got about 30 watch hours out of it today.
Yeah, there you go.
People actually still watch it after it's been live. That blows my mind. And I was like, okay, people are being really good sports about this, and so I started doing a few actual live streams, of which I'm doing another one tomorrow. It's not really helping me all that much with view hours, but I'm having fun with it, and I'm meeting some new people that wander into my streams with the live chat. So I'll be doing it more often, and as I do more, more view hours, I'll get there. But there might be I don't know, there might be a driveway live stream soon.
So how many hours have you got to go, Jay?
Where can I pull that up real quick?
You'll get
Analytics,
that if you go to YouTube Studio, then monetization.
Yeah, sorry.
I will tell you right now. That is, I think I actually dropped some hours. I'm at 3160 public watch hours.
That's not bad,
No, you only need 840 more.
Yeah,
more than 3/4 of the way there. So yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, do a live stream for 24 hours of your puck vice cleaning.
So yep,
I could.
everyone who's watching, next time Jay does a live stream, and make sure you're subscribed. And when he does a live stream, just get it running in the background. You don't actually have to watch it.
Come
You
on.
put that in the thumbnail. You don't have to watch it.
Actually, Dave showed up in the comments. He's like, I watched your stream. I didn't see any birds. Like, dude, there were plenty of birds. So if you do decide to show up, whether you're trying to support me with the view hours or you're actually watching, you can expect a quiz by the time we're done. Because I made an appearance 3 times in that video.
I didn't see it on fast forward.
Uh-huh.
He was going too fast.
Yeah.
Is that Jay? Oh, it's a deer. Is that Jay? No, it's a deer.
Fat squirrel.
I think what the nice thing about one of the nice things about streaming is, as Jay was saying, you get interaction from people that you normally might not see a comment from in your videos, or you might not know that they're watching, or they might not have insight of it. And when I tinker on some things that I'm unfamiliar with, like the Apple Cinema display that I was playing around with, there was like 1 or 2 people in the chat that knew way more about it than I did. And they repaired them before and tinkered around with them before. And it was great because without them, I would have been like poking blindly at this display. But these people in the chat who were enjoying the content and wanted to be a part of it were a great help. And so I think it's a fantastic way to interact with people. And I think it's just one of those things that Bruce and Mike and now Jay just likes. If we're working on something, might as well stream it. We're just going to tinker around, and it's fun to do. And you might get some good gems in there from the audience that are trying to help you out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know that like my live streams where I continually forget what the frequency is of a real-time clock oscillator, there's always someone in the chat that knows what it is. So always help us.
You just got to say the wrong thing, and you'll be corrected instantly.
Yes, that's for sure. That's for sure. So what I wanted to talk about today, and we can all obviously discuss this, is the is the concept of money, of actually making money from YouTube, of actually turning it into, a source of income. And I guess when it comes to that, there needs to be certain expectations set, because there's this kind of idea that you can make huge amounts of money from YouTube, and obviously some people do that, but at the same time, it's a long climb to get there. And you also may find that you never get there with the content you have. And what I'm referring to is the subjects, the topics that you have in your videos, the type of channel that you've actually created. As I mentioned in one of the earlier ones, when it comes to making advertising money on these, it generally comes down to advertisers choosing to advertise on your video, advertise based on the content you have. Now, yes, sure, sometimes there are just, advertisers advertising anything on those, and those advertisers are ones that are just out for brand recognition. They're out for penetration. They just want everyone to see their ad. But there are more. Thank you, Justin. Eve.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Justin.
Sorry, that's Peyton. Excuse me. So, the majority of advertisers do want to advertise on sort of on channels with a particular demographic. And if you're looking at these sorts of videos that make the most amount of money, I've actually got a little page here that I'm going to. So some of the highest earning, or the channels with the highest earning potentials are based around financial advice, whether it be getting your finances in order, which credit cards to use, paying off credit card debt, sort of getting a mortgage, getting a loan, insurance, all that sort of stuff, or trading in stocks, that sort of stuff. These videos have the highest earning potential. So if you're sort of thinking to yourself, well, all I'm interested in is making money, then you got to go down that path. But of course, you've got to create content that people are going to watch. But they're definitely the highest earners from advertising. Some of the other things, sort of reviews, some sorts of reviews, not all reviews, but some sorts of reviews get quite good earning. Health-related issues, cars, gadgets, technology, sort of online marketing stuff, those sorts of things. These are all ones that, do quite well, from advertising revenue. So again, sort of have a think about that sort of thing. Some of the ones that really don't do well at all, just silly clips, just with funny accidents and stuff happening. CCTV footage. Sorry, Jay.
Wait, so you saying all my failed videos, Bruce, are just funny accidents? I see how it is.
No, but I mean, I think sometimes what people do is they look at someone who is making a huge amount of money on YouTube and think, oh, I want to do the same thing as them. But it's not necessarily the right path to take. I mean, some of those YouTubers, they just have such ridiculously large subscriber numbers that the general rules like this don't apply to them, because they've just got so many. And
that's the thing. If you started a channel 10, 15 years ago, the subscriber base that you have is going to be very hard to acquire, because there's so many more people out there doing either the similar topic or the same exact topic that you are, that it's much harder to grab that base than you would have 15 years ago or 10 years ago. It's kind of weird, because I find new content on people repairing Macs all the time. There's somebody called 68K Gold on YouTube. Fantastic video quality. Only has like a few hundred subscribers, and it's like, there's just one of these things where it's like, you have to, I guess, earn that and carve away, your
what we
path
do
there.
really is a saturated part of YouTube. Unless you're very specific, and you should check out his channel if you're into this. It's called Mr. Macintosh. He will have all the latest, really the very, very latest tips and tricks. They're short videos, how to do this, how to install that, what's new in this update. And he racked up a huge amount of subs in a very short time. But me cleaning a puck mouse, I'm not going to expect more than 2 subscribers that are probably clicking subscribe by accident. But if you run a farm, oh my God, if you run a farm with a tractor and a goat, you'll have 10K subs before the end of the day. That's what everybody's into now. So
But now,
Yeah,
if you can mix your farming with Macintoshes, then you're all set.
look, there's a G3 grazing. Let's go check it out.
It's worth mentioning that, I mean, with the subscribers that I have on my channel, I mean, so I'm doing a lot of these live streams where I'm repairing Macs and I'm recapping and stuff like that. In my videos, most of my subscribers and views come from generic learn how to solder stuff. Learning, sort of learning soldering techniques, that sort of thing. They're the main ones that I get subscribers and viewers from. So niche can be a bit of an issue. You might get some very dedicated viewers, but you won't get as many than, sort of going with a much broader sort of topic. Now, I'm going to drop a little link into the chat here. It's a video of this guy that I watched one time, and he's a very good speaker. I'm not sure he'd be favorite person to spend time with or anything like that, but he does YouTube videos on sort of financially based stuff, getting yourself out of debt, earning potential, all this sort of stuff. And he has always been extremely transparent. Now, this video is about a year old, but he's always been extremely transparent about the money that he makes through YouTube. And it's a fascinating video. It's not super long, but he goes through and not only talks about what he earns, exactly what he earns with the number of subscribers that he has. He talks about how much to expect to earn based on how many views and subscribers you have, and also talks about other ways of earning money. And this is the really important part, is that it's not just money from the YouTube, Google advertising. There are lots of other ways. Now, if you're someone who is teaching something in your videos, you can always go down the path of doing like one-on-one training, or training courses with a small number of people where people have to pay to be part of it. There are those sorts of things that you can do. There's also sponsorship, where you actually you get someone on board to advertise in your channel. So whoever it might be, I'm sure we've all seen one or two videos where someone talks about PCB part way through it.
No.
And basically you get someone on board.
I think they sponsor everybody.
You mentioned there, I mean, you'll see it all the time, and you'll usually see at the beginning it says includes paid promotion. So that's another way that you can get revenue. Another way is, of course, to make your own products. If you get known enough and you have something specific about you that people are watching, maybe you've got a catchphrase, or maybe you've got a really cool logo or something like that, you can go in and start making coffee mugs and t-shirts. And I mean, this is something that Steve does with his channel. He makes these kind of esoteric t-shirts about the vintage Mac industry, and he makes them available for people to buy. Feel free to drop a link in there, Steve, if you're around. And then, of course, another thing you can do is affiliate marketing, and that's where you use something, or maybe a tool that you use, or a product that you recommend. You put a link in your video, either in the description or during the video, and when someone buys something using that link, you get a small percentage of that sale. It doesn't make the product any more expensive for the buyer or anything like that. It just, you just get a little kickback from that. So that's another way. So there are lots of different ways of earning money through YouTube, rather than just getting the subscribers and the sort of in the advertising. But yeah, as I say, with the advertising, one of the main takeaways, I think, is knowing that that advertisers have a reputation, and they don't necessarily want their reputation to be tarnished by advertising on your channel. So if you're doing channel with offensive stuff, or strong political views, or you're doing a lot of swearing or stuff like that, you have to expect that you're not going to get sort of some of the better paying advertisers on your channel. So that's, again, just something to keep in mind when you're actually producing your content. Did anyone else have anything to add during this little section here? Yes, Jay.
Wow, I lost it. never mind. I instantly forgot what I was going to say.
All right.
Oh wait,
well,
no.
I got.
Don't turn down free money. When I started my channel, I had no intention of ever monetizing. Even if I reached 1,000 subs, I get the few hours. I was not going to monetize through Google because I personally have a very big problem with Google, and I don't want any of my money flowing through them. I have a donation page on my website. People can PayPal, whatever. I wasn't going to do it. And then Google turned on ads, even though I disabled them. So if people are going to watch the ads anyway, and I'm going to make $1 here, $1 there, now I am working towards that monetization, not to rack in super chats, which, by the way, Macyak can receive, so feel free. But
Very subtle.
yeah, I don't do subtle. But if I'm going to make that $2-3 a month, for example, from ads, it's still $2-3 a month. So now I do want to get my account up to 1,000 subs and all that, so I can just get that income. It's not even going to buy me a drink, probably. But, I'm not going to say no to that.
Yeah,
Well-
especially because they started doing it anyway. It's like
Yeah.
you have no choice in the matter. So you might as well be paid for it than not be paid for it. I mean, if,
Absolutely.
like you said, your opinion changed on it because they changed the way the platform worked.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, one of the things I was going to say too, and I was mentioning in the comments there was, like Bruce was saying about the sponsorship. The cool thing about the sponsorship is YouTube can't touch any of that money. Okay, because you could put your own ads in there. People can't. Well, they can fast forward a little bit past them because I've seen some videos where they have like a 3-minute long where they're talking about the product or something. I'm like, I don't want to listen to that. Let me find out where they start talking where I want to go.
That's when you just got to tell those advertisers, look, I talk really fast.
Yeah.
You're just like, bow. And
And
that's
the positioning of the ad within the video will make a difference. If you're going to just tack it right onto the end of the video when all the content's done, you can't expect to get too much money from that advertiser. But if you put it right in the middle or just before the punchline of your video, then you can expect to get paid a bit more.
Well, I'm going to tell you somebody that does that very well, and he's not a Mac guy, but he does some Mac stuff every once in a while. Is Linus Tech Tips? Okay,
Thank you, Patrick.
thank you, Patrick.
Oh, thank you, Patrick.
Linus Tech Tips. He always put the sponsor that they have always has a segue into it in his videos, and he always makes it his script go right into that, and it flows nicely, And
it also does help if you're getting an advertiser that has some relevance to what you're doing. If you're doing tech and it's a tech-based product, it makes it much easier for that YouTuber to sell that item.
yes, it does. I agree. But like Bruce said, you have to make it relevant, and it's a lot better that way.
Yeah, integrated in there. The other thing, of course, I completely forgot to mention, thanks, Jay, for bringing this up, is the other income source, and that is Patreon. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be Patreon as such, but the idea of you creating a group of subscribers, so people who have a paid subscription to you rather than the free one on YouTube, and the idea being that with a paid subscription, they will get something more from it. They'll get, like pussy videos that like Mike's got there at the moment. You can have like a donations button on the page, or you can have a Patreon where it's like a monthly subscription, and people who enjoy the content, some people just send donations just because they like it. This video really helped me. Here's $20, something like that. Whereas others, and Steve obviously has this. He has a Patreon, and you can, when you pay that, you'll get a preview of some of the videos he's doing. Sometimes you get a preview of the video before it's finished, maybe not be fully tidied up yet. And so you feel like you're getting something for that money, and so you go ahead and actually pay that amount. And when you get enough people doing it, it actually can turn into a pretty decent amount of money each month. So yeah, Steve.
Yeah. So no, I just want to piggyback on that. I mean, I started the Patreon because I wasn't monetized on YouTube. That was the only way I would get support from anybody. And I mean, now I'm getting super chats and stuff from YouTube, but the monetization from YouTube, the amount of money you get is completely derived on how many views your video gets and all that stuff. I think the Rascuzzy video has maybe $6, something like that. It's not. If I put in all that effort for $6, that's not going to get me anywhere. But for my supporters on Patreon, it's one of those things where, well, if I bought the lights for my camera stuff, I bought the microphone and stuff like that, I go out and buy a monitor or something, a vintage thing. That comes right out of there. So if I get something, if I get some funds, I could put that toward whatever I'm doing. And it's immensely helpful because, that's a little fund that I just sort of leave on the side. I don't really pay attention to it unless it's like, okay, I got to get a memory card for the camera or whatever it is. And I'm very thankful to having that, But YouTube also has their own type of thing. It's called membership. They do take a fee out of it. I don't know how much it is. I haven't looked into it because I would sort of feel weird having like a membership and a Patreon, but I haven't looked into enough to see the benefits of it. But I'm grandfathered into like the older Patreon thing, so the fees that they take out are less than I think if you signed up now. But I think it's a very interesting platform. I know Dan, the Canadian computer collector, uses one Ko-Fi or Coffee or whatever. It's like, it's a play on the word coffee, and it's like a tip type system where it's a one-time payment type thing. And of course, you could set up a PayPal donation button as well. Mike has one for his channel. Jay has one, etc. I think that's good, but you lose out of some of the social aspect of somebody on Patreon where you subscribe, you forget about it, and they might be there for a while.
Yep. I just thought I'd mention, just based on what you were saying. So the highest earning video that I have on my channel has earned just under $3,000, and that's been on there since middle of 2020. So
which one is that?
Is that the one where you accidentally left your camera on when you did the thing? And
it's the beginner's guide to soldering. Now, you look at that as over a span of however many years since it's been released, whatever. It's sort of, actually it's not that long, is it? It's been around for about about 1 or 2 years. I think it's been around, something like that.
But how long have you been monetized though? See, that's
yeah, I'm not sure.
So all of that is not, you didn't get all of that before, so
yeah. But anyhow, the point is that it's not a ridiculous amount of money. So it's not it's an amount of money where you're not going to be in a situation. Eventually, you might be, but you're not going to be in a situation to live on it. But when that deposit comes in each month, it's a nice little bit of extra pocket change that
unless you're PewDiePie or somebody like that,
or something like that.
If you're PewDiePie, you're living off of YouTube
until your parents take all your money.
Well, they'd have to take a lot of his money. He's making a whole lot of money off of YouTube. So,
well, you must know you're his biggest fan.
No, I'm not. I'm not even subscribed to him. One of the things I wanted to talk about. Now I done forgot about it. I'm like Jay. I'm forgetting about it at the last second here. It was about money too, and I can't remember what it's about. Yeah, just push me up there on the front.
Yeah, put you up there. That'll help you remember.
No, it's not going to help me remember.
Not to worry.
But just realize though that you don't get paid as soon as you get that money. So like Steve was saying about the $6 for that video, it actually has to build up, and
I need way more than $6 to redeem.
You need at least $100 before you actually get paid from YouTube.
Yeah,
it's just the way it works. They do take out a lot of fees from all this stuff, which because they have operating expense too. But
I think it's 40%.
Yeah, I don't know. It's more than Apple takes out of from the App Store, right?
I think for Super Chats they take 40% out of it, something like that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Stupid. So now everybody's thinking, "Oh, I'm not going to give Super Chats anymore. YouTube's getting most of it."
You still get some of it, so better than nothing.
Yeah. So.
And we are very thankful for every penny.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. It's actually it's something I should just say now, because the super chats do often come through when we're in the middle of conversation and stuff like that, and we want to thank people. But it is really important just to let everyone know that that although we don't do this channel to make money from our viewers, we do always appreciate any support that we get. And so for any of the viewers, whoever, give us these super chats, we thank you, wholeheartedly, because it does sort of, I guess, help us feel like we're creating something that people are enjoying. So that's,
Yes.
so, thanks again to everyone. If the super chats come up and you only just get a quick thank you, it's usually just because we're right in the middle of something, but it is always appreciated. So,
Yes.
so thanks.
And you literally keep us on the air. You pay for the software and the stuff that we need to keep going.
Yep, that's actually what it's paying for right now is all this new software, because this software is not free. I think it was pretty expensive, actually. I think for the year subscription.
Yeah,
I'm recapping as many boards as I can to pay it off.
And I don't know if I can throw this in there. If your goal is to monetize and earn money and potentially make a living off of YouTube, then you do what you have to do. But everybody else, it is nice. It is nice to get some extra cash from it. For me, right now, I could say it will most likely never be the reason that I live stream or make videos or anything. If I start making it about the money for me, I know for a fact I'm not going to enjoy any of it. So just like my blog, I'm just going to keep this nice and relaxed. My channel, that is, not Maciac. I'm super professional here.
I think it becomes a job then, pretty much.
Exactly. So,
I mean, I would argue, in some aspects of the especially the scripted stuff that Bruce or myself or anybody of us would do, it's almost like a job, because you have, something that you set, a goal you set, you have a specific timeline you're trying to meet, and you don't always meet it, but it's like you go through these motions, and it's a lot of work. And I think that there's certainly the type of person, the type of situation where that could be something that you do full time, but I think more power to you if you have the energy to do that.
My last pre-recorded video essentially took an entire weekend, so 2 full days worth of work to bring that video out, and it's essentially just filming me playing around with the soldering irons. It's like, the more complicated you get, if you're having to chase down, B-roll footage, you can end up spending so much time. I've often found that when I'm doing editing, it usually takes me about an hour to edit a minute of footage. That's what I've often found to be a reasonable sort of guide. Anyhow. Okay, well, look, I think that's probably, we've probably done that little section there of the YouTube. We're actually a little bit earlier than usual today, so
we got some other stuff to talk about though.
Okay, well, we've got a what do you call it, what were they smoking, haven't we? So
Yes,
shall we get that one happening?
Oh yes, in fact, it's one that was found on Discord, actually submitted by Charles. Master Gecko 4 submitted this. If somebody wants to post a link there, they can do that.
I don't want to, but I will.
I mean, I have it. I mean, I can post it too. I mean, there. All right, it's in there. But yeah, if you take a look at this one is kind of crazy here. Should I bring it up on screen here?
Yeah, why not?
All right, I'll share. I already have it up here. So let's see.
what are we looking at here?
Oh, we're looking at.
I have some problems with this already.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Looking at this thing. This thing is crazy expensive. $49,995 for a set of books.
Plus
This isn't
$100
even-
shipping.
Yeah, plus $100 shipping.
The computer isn't even worth that much.
So, I mean, there's the set of books. It says it's factory sealed. However, the only thing that's factory sealed is actually the pages in the middle.
Yeah, there are pages and books that are sealed, but
Yeah. So, I mean, look at the back of it. The back of this thing is just horrible.
I mean, yeah,
looking.
that's the shipping box, and I'm sure that was on the shelf and got manhandled and stuff. I mean,
but not $49,000 worth.
No, you could if you could buy. Oh my God, the Lisa doesn't even go for a quarter of that. Let alone
exactly.
the
The
books.
hardware.
You brought this up earlier. I was like, what the? And then I saw where it was listed. And then it all made sense.
Your neck of the woods, right?
Yep, those Dutch are crazy, man.
I like it says this is rare, probably one in the world. I'm pretty sure that James Hyper Talking has similar books to these sitting in his collection because this stuff, like it or not, it is probably still out there. But it's a lot of people just toss it because they upgrade to a new system or they find it and then what's this? Oh, we don't need it anymore, and they throw it out. So yeah, it's uncommon, but it's like, would somebody actually pay $50,000 for a bunch of books for the Lisa operating system that are probably duplicated elsewhere? Because I'm sure this wasn't the only edition that this came out in.
No, it's probably not. But one of the things you always got to look for, and especially these what were they smoking ones, is these words right here, very rare. That's always in there for some reason.
As soon as the seller decides something is rare, it's not, usually.
Yes.
Else you wouldn't have to point it out. If I sell an Apple One on eBay, I don't have to say very rare. People know it's very rare. So as soon as I see those words, I'm like, okay, you're full of it.
Well, you know what I love is that if you do a Google search for Lisa Pascal Workshop 3.0, you find a lovely PDF by BitSavers, who have already archived at least a version of this. So without spending $50,000, you could go ahead and go to archive.org or go to Google and BitSavers and find it. And they have a lovely selection of this, and it's in color, and it's scanned, and it's probably searchable, and I just saved you $50,000.
All right.
Steve Jobs licked the PDF.
Yes. His next step, process the postscript that was in the PDF.
All right.
Okay, so what do we got next? Let's have a look. What was he smoking?
Yeah, there you go.
He's in Amsterdam. What do you think he's smoking?
I think he's smoking that, but it's wrapped around the plastic that these pages were encased in.
Yeah.
Might be onto something there. Yep.
What do you say, Mike? Oh, you're muted, Mike.
Mike's not saying nothing.
I agree with Jay. We know what he was smoking. It's from Amsterdam. It's not yet legal in the United States.
Well, some states it is actually.
It is in New Jersey, but it isn't in Pennsylvania.
It's actually in Virginia too, believe it or not.
That's why Steve is so peppy today.
I gotta move.
So I was just looking through the notes at the next thing, and someone's written in great big capital letters, "Skip this." So
That's just to throw you
I'm
off.
incredibly ill prepared for it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So unless someone has something hiding in these notes somewhere that I haven't seen,
Well,
I think
scroll
that's
all the
about
way
it.
to the bottom. There's something hiding.
I see that's hiding. Yeah, it wouldn't be my first choice.
But no. I got
Okay, well, I mean, unless anyone has anything, let's just move on to what do we got happening? What's happening, guys? What's got for the week ahead?
Jay, aren't you doing something after the show tonight?
Yeah, I'm going live at some point. I forgot what time I scheduled the stream for. 10 or
Midnight.
10:30. I'm not
Midnight.
sure. Midnight?
It says
I ain't streaming
12.
at midnight.
That's what it said.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not streaming at midnight, but I will be streaming shortly, 10:15. There you go. Someone can read. And
So who's going to be streaming before then?
I might be there for quite a few hours. I ordered a MacBook Air from eBay that is exceptionally liquid damaged, and I'm gonna see if we can fix it. I haven't opened the box yet. The box is right out of camera view there. I haven't even cut the tape, so I don't even know what's in it. Maybe
You know
they
what's
sent me
funny?
the back air, maybe they sent me a brick. Who knows?
What's funny about that, Jay, is that I've sent you several other ones that's probably less damaged than that, and you've never been able to fix them.
Yours are damaged in unique ways. Like, oh, look, I can see through the board. What happened here?
Or Steve's that's kind of got a big old crack.
Mine is very artistic. That's an artisanal crack. And this is the piece that Jay needs. So I had to put that in an envelope.
He's like, give me.
No.
Ooh.
Ooh, I can now program you. So yeah, that's what I got going on. Nothing more, nothing else.
Tomorrow, hopefully, I mean, the USPS is saying one thing, but eBay's saying another. But I should have my CPUs in for my new CMP, and I'm going to be doing possibly a live stream tomorrow or maybe even Saturday of delidding the CPUs and upgrading the CPUs in my 4.1, my new one that I got.
What method will you be using for delidding, or do we have to watch and find out?
Nope, I'll tell you right up. The heat and razor blade method. I don't believe in the vice method. I don't think that that's a very safe method to use. And Jay will probably agree with me on that.
How about you, Mike? You got anything coming up?
Depends on whether or not I can get this iMac off this dude in Carlisle. I'm trying to get a 2006 iMac off a guy in Carlisle.
What do you want with the 2006 iMac?
I want to put it up against my 2005 iMac G5.
Well, you say that, I can lend you one.
And it's only $35.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't spend much more than that on an Intel iMac anyway.
But I was also trying to get another iMac. I was trying to get a 2009 off a guy for. He wanted like $250 for it, but yeah, it's a Core 2 Duo. It's a 2-point high product. I don't know. It's one of the last Core 2 Duos. It's a real high end one. It's a 24-inch model or 27-inch model. And
yeah, I got a garage full of them. Build your own, Mike.
Yeah, but we have to have working parts first.
Yeah, but still, those machines are riddled with issues.
Yeah, well, I don't want to pay what he wants. You know, the $35 for the 2006 iMac, I could do that. That's no big deal.
There you go.
That's the price of 2 subs at the pizza shop, really. But yeah, so if I could get that for about $100, I'd consider getting it, just to play around with. But yeah, I want to get the 2006 because I want to do comparisons of the 2005 iMac G5 behind me, which is the fastest one ever made in the PowerPC line, versus a 2006 Core 2 Duo. And then one of these days I'm going to steal Steve's quad, and I'm either going to take a 1.1 Mac Pro over to his house, and we're going to do a video comparing a bone stock quad core Xeon versus a quad core G5. And
that would be easier than lifting the quad core G5 up into your apartment.
Probably, because I think, because the 1.1's not even in my apartment. And just doing some comparisons, because I've never actually seen anybody like benchmark the two machines side by side.
That'd be interesting. You're going to live stream that too, right?
Yeah, it'd be fun. We'll figure out.
Well, the iMac one I'll probably make into an actual video. I'm still working on a video. I'm making a video for all my fans, so it's going to be an OnlyFans video. But other than that, I don't really have any immediate plans. If I get this thing before Saturday, I'll probably live stream tearing it down, cleaning it up, and of course throwing tons of thermal goop on the processor to keep that freaking thing at least remotely cool. And of course, Prada will have to make an appearance. So
of course, we expect that.
Of course.
By the way, I do want to interject something on the YouTube thing. If any of y'all ever want to make money on YouTube, you must have one of these.
Duly noted.
Cat
Oh, wow.
videos
Are
are
there
like,
videos of cats? Wow.
cat videos are like the number one thing on YouTube.
I'm not sure that they're the biggest earners, though.
Yeah. We're thinking a different thing, but we won't go there.
And Steve, what do you have coming up?
So I'm going to be doing some more recapping, which is very exciting, but not going to give you all the details yet. But Ken from the Computer Clan and I are working on something interesting. So keep your eyes peeled. There's something that you will hear sometime in the future related to me and or him doing something. Be fun.
Okay. So it sounds like the weekend streaming schedule could be pretty full. So I don't know if I'll be getting any in.
We'll
during
make
this
room
week.
for you, Bruce. Just keep head full steam ahead on that classic.
Yeah, well, the classics kind of it's hit a bit of a roadblock at the moment. I definitely need help from Kai on that one at this stage.
It's a good thing he's well rested.
Yeah, that's right. He's actually been on his holiday. He's actually been doing some modifications to the layout, but that doesn't help with the boards that I've got here. So for anyone who
So that
did
means
actually watch those,
He's going to have to send you a new one, and you're going to have to desolder all that stuff. And
yeah. Well, the idea at this stage is I'm looking to try and modify this board as much as I can, and so far I've managed to get rid of all of the short circuits in there. Well, I think I have. I've been able to get rid of the ones that I've found anyway, and I have got to the point now when I power it up, the CPU is getting power. And so are a few other chips and stuff like that, but it's still not starting up. So, and I need to sort of I need to probably sit down with with Kai sort of remotely and go through and test a few you probe around the board a little bit to find out what's going on, because there were short circuits in the actual board. And I'm also worried that may have actually damaged some components while I was doing some testing. So who knows?
You need a board that's like puzzle pieces, and he'll send you the new pieces, and you just snap it.
That's right. But I had to get the Dremel on the board. I have made a few little videos of the stuff that I've done there, so I will post those at some stage. But I would ideally like to post that video with the end part being me getting it working.
No,
and
you
I
just see a
haven't got
cliffhanger.
that bit yet. So that's potentially.
So in the
still
meantime,
to
do your ultrasonic video.
Yes, that's the plan. If I do get the time this
That's
weekend, I'll be
scheduled for
doing the
2027.
Yeah, well, that one has definitely risen up the priority list at the moment. So I do hope to get that one out within the next sort of couple of weeks. So yeah. Okay, well, I think we've covered everyone. We've got everyone there,
I
and
think
we've managed to stretch it out to the end of the show, 11:30 a.m. here. So we've managed to do it. Don't forget about our Discord channel. Everyone, please jump on to Discord and excuse me, and join up if you're not already. We got a lot of cool stuff on there. We've obviously the viewing community is on there, and we're all sharing stuff and asking questions and helping each other out and all that sort of stuff. We do occasionally jump on there into the chat after the show. Not sure if we will be tonight because people are doing live streams. But if you're not joined to the Discord channel, please do that. And of course, as usual, hang on.
Smash that like button.
Yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to get in there and smash that like button, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Click that bell. Do what you have to do. Unless anyone has anything else to add, I would say thank you to everyone for watching, and we will hope to see you next week.
Adios.
Bye.
Go away.
Hold on.
Who's pressing the button?